Hey, welcome. Today we're going to walk through a really fascinating argument for the existence of a creator. We'll be breaking down the logic, piece by piece, all based on the source material for this explainer.
You've definitely seen this before, right? In God We Trust. It's on US money. You've probably handled it 1,000 times without even thinking twice about it. But our source material uses these exact words as a jumping-off point. It's this everyday reminder of a belief that you find in pretty much every culture throughout human history.
And that really leads to this huge question, doesn't it? Why is there this persistent search for something more? The source material we're digging into today actually proposes a very specific, structured answer. So let's get into the first piece of its argument.
Our source starts big. Like, really big. It asked us to look up at the stars, at the sheer vastness of space. And the case it makes is that the incredible order we see out there, well, maybe it's not so random. Maybe it's pointing to something else, entirely.
The whole foundation of this part of the argument is this idea of fine-tuning. Think about it like this. The source claims our planet, our sun, our entire solar system, they all have to operate within these super specific rules for life to even exist. If you nudge any one of those conditions just a tiny bit, poof, we wouldn't be here.
So this is where the source really sets up a contrast. On one side, you've got a universe of pure chaos, where the chances of life happening are basically zero. And on the other side, you have the universe we actually live in, which the source describes as incredibly orderly, predictable, and, well, perfectly set up for our existence.
And that brings us to the big question the source wants you to ask yourself. When you look at all these perfect conditions, what makes more sense? That it's all just a 1 in a trillion cosmic accident? Or, as the source suggests, does it make more sense to think there might be a guiding hand behind it all?
Okay, so let's zoom in. The argument now pivots from the massive scale of the universe, from the telescope, right down to the microscope. We're going from the cosmos to the complex, intricate details of life itself.
So, 0.3%. What's that about? Well, according to our source, that is the incredibly narrow window, the razor-thin margin of tolerance for oxygen in our atmosphere. If that number was just a tiny bit higher or a tiny bit lower, human life as we know it just couldn't exist. It's another piece of evidence the source presents for unbelievable precision.
And the argument keeps going, pointing to things we totally take for granted, you know? Like our eyebrows, which are perfectly placed to keep sweat out of our eyes, eyelashes to keep dust out, the insane complex network of our own brain. The source frames every single one of these as evidence of intentional, functional design, where every little part has a specific job.
And to really drive this point home, the source uses a powerful analogy. I mean, think about your smartphone. You would never ever expect a pile of microchips and glass to just spontaneously assemble itself into a working phone, right? The argument then is that the human body is infinitely more complex. So it asks, how could we think that just happened by random chance?
This question right here, this is a huge turning point in the source's whole argument. It's presented the evidence from the huge scale of the universe and the tiny scale of our own bodies. And now it's shifting from just observing things to drawing a conclusion. It's trying to answer the who behind the what.
All right, so after laying out all this evidence, from the cosmos all the way down to our cells, the source moves on to what it presents as the only logical conclusion. And here it is. The specific identity the source ascribes to this designer is the greatest creator. Now, this isn't just some vague, generic term. It's presented as the architect, the one responsible for the grand, intricate design of the entire universe. But the source doesn't just stop at giving a name. It then goes on to describe the nature of this creator. The logic is that whoever or whatever created a universe that's so orderly and life-sustaining must possess certain inherent qualities itself, things like wisdom, love, and mercy.
Okay, so if the who is the greatest creator, then the next obvious question is why, right? Why go through all the trouble of creating such a complex universe and such intricate beings? The source offers a very direct answer to that.
And the answer, according to our source material, is us. The argument is that humanity isn't just some random byproduct of creation. We are its central focus. That perfectly balanced planet, the life-sustaining atmosphere, all of it, the source argues, was designed specifically with us in mind.
This quote from the source really just sums up the whole argument perfectly. It frames our entire existence as a direct gift, inextricably linking our lives and our world to the will and design of the greatest creator. It's a relationship of complete dependency.
And that really leaves us with the final big thought from this whole argument. If we follow the source's logic that the universe is a purposeful design with humanity at its center, then what's our role in it? What responsibility does that place on us? It's a lot to think about. Thanks for joining me to explore this line of reasoning.